right now. Listen up.
3, 2, 1.
It's showtime.
That's great.
This is ridiculous.
99.3 The Truth.
You can't handle the truth right now.
Ooh.
That's the stupidest thing I ever heard.
Let's do it.
Hit it.
It's time for Mac's World. And here we go.
Everybody, let's get it started. Let's get it started.
Call Mac 244-0077 or text 809-0993.
It's showtime, everybody. Showtime.
Exclusively on 99.3 The Truth.
It is 6 minutes after the hour on the 5th day of July in the Lord's year 2016. I'm J. Michael McCoy, back in the saddle again after 3 days off. I miss you. You know, if you go back and listen to the first show of the beginning of a week, so if we had a Monday off, it'd be a Tuesday. If we had a Friday off, it'd be a Monday. I always tell you that I miss you. I drive around and I just talk to people all weekend. And I'm always thinking about bringing those stories to you. And it's like I want to go home and I want to call my mom. Or I want to go home and I want to call my grandson and say, hey, I really ran into this super cool person today that I want you to hear about. So I'm going to tell you what's going on the show today. But then we're going to go back and talk about a cool experience I had this weekend, if you'll just bear with me. First of all, Mr. Christopher Roloff, General Manager, Vice President, CEO of the Truth Network in Des Moines, is at the table. Frank, the Verse, and Bob Monster at the Cat in the Hat watching the chat. And, of course, Jebediah over there. Smile. So you haven't, okay, you haven't smiled. See, Bob, he's got good teeth. So, Mr. Roloff, sir, how are you? How was your weekend with your lovely daughter?
After 6 years, my family and I have months. It took us 6 years to finally officially become Iowans.
What? I don't know. What happened?
For the very first time over the weekend, all three of us had walking tacos.
I thought you were an official Iowan when you had a maid right.
Oh, well, I guess.
Or when you went to the Iowa State Fair and had a pork chop on a stick.
That I haven't done yet.
Have you had a stick of butter on a stick?
I have not had a stick of butter on a stick.
Have you been to the fair?
Yes, I have.
So is this going to be like an ongoing, and it's okay if it is. I listen, mental disease is around me everywhere. So sure. I know how to handle people who, make up stuff. Right. Imagine. Mm-hmm. Like the day you sat there and told me that Jesus was sitting right next to me, day 14. And I said, what? So now it's the walking taco. Why is that? You don't have those in Texas?
No.
Really?
No, we're as a state that lives on the border, we eat like actual Mexican food, not
but
Doritos.
Why wouldn't you take all that stuff that you'd get in a Mexican food and stuff it in a baggie with a spoon?
We're just not as smart as the people in the state of Iowa.
Were they good walking tacos?
I thought they were genius. I actually think the walking taco is a genius thing. This food screams Chris Roloff. I mean, everything about it is perfect. It's things I like: chips, it's meat, it's cheese. We had onions.
Have you never seen one before?
Oh, I've seen them. Anytime you go to the fair, anytime you go to a carnival, you see them.
But you don't.
But I had not had the opportunity to have one. These are great. It's great party food. We're actually at a friend's shindig. And that's what they had for food. And I thought, how genius is this? Everybody's sitting around in lawn chairs, and you got this cracked open bag with your little fork, and you're just eating. I thought it was genius. I think it's absolutely brilliant. Way to go, Iowa, or whoever dreamed these things up.
Frank,
did you dream these? You dreamt this up?
Yep.
I think it's amazing.
If you
Google my church, it's Haystacks. Go Haystacks.
Haystacks.
But this is Haystacks in a bag, right?
This is haystack. Is a haystack a thing? What's that? Well, I know what horses eat.
That's like
talk into the mic.
That's like Frito-Lays and your meat and cheese and
layers
of toppings.
Oh, okay.
Haystack.
Like
you stack hay bales.
See, we just called that a Frito pie when I was growing up.
A who to who?
A Frito pie.
Frito pie.
Yeah, Fritos, but like a food.
So who invited you over to their house?
Some friends.
He has friends.
Are they people you don't want to introduce me to?
I'd love to introduce you. In fact, you know them. Some of them.
Oh, boy. Who was it?
Well, that's their privacy, man.
Oh, so you're going to sit here and tell me what a great time you had at a party. You were at some place that I even know people, and you're not going to tell me who it was.
I'll tell you. I don't want to tell them.
Tell the audience.
Because then, they
won't be in.
See, I would feel bad for anybody who chooses to voluntarily associate with me. I wouldn't want someone to publicly be known that they hung out with me.
These are game people, aren't they?
No, these are people that are respectable.
No, come on. They're
These are
gamers.
These are respectable individuals that should remain respectable.
How do I know one of them? Can you tell me that on the radio? Hey, I share my life with my listeners.
That's a choice you make, yes.
So, but you're not going to tell me off air.
Sure.
Okay. We're coming back live here on 99.3 The Truth. Okay, Chris, we're in break.
Yeah, we're in break. You got me. You've duped me on that one.
All right.
Anyway, way to go on the walking talk. I don't know who invented them.
Frank.
Me.
We should Google that.
Is it as good as pizza in a cup?
Ooh, I've never seen pizza in a cup.
That's from The Jerk, right? From the movie The Jerk.
I don't know.
It's referenced. No, Frank knows. I'm being serious.
Oh, okay.
But there is such a thing as pizza in a cup. You make them in the muffin pans.
Oh, yeah, I've had that. That's almost as good as this, but
Is that where you put the dough in and
Yes.
it's okay.
like a cupcake of pizza.
All right. Coming up next hour, this is one of the most beautiful names I've ever heard. Christiana. Now, is that the woman from CNN? Is that the same name?
Amanpour. Christiana Amanpour.
Well, this is just
But no, that is not who
Christiana.
this is.
Yeah.
This is Christiana Holcomb. And Christiana is a lead counsel for the Alliance to Defend Freedom. Did I say that right?
Alliance Defending Freedom, ADF.
Is that just freedom in general, or is that a specific type?
Religious.
I think they tend to focus on religious freedom issues. And why are we having her on, Mac?
Yeah, why don't you tell us? You've got the story there in front of you.
Well, they wrote a press release, the Alliance Defending Freedom. The headline of the press release is "Sermons on Biblical Sexuality Illegal in Iowa?" ? State Civil Rights Commission says churches must censor speech, open restrooms to opposite sex. So they have joined with a local church, Fort Des Moines Church of Christ. That's
Michael Damastis.
Pastor Michael Damastis. And they together, I believe, are filing a lawsuit with the against the state of Iowa, so to speak, specifically against the
Iowa Civil Rights Commission.
Yes, the Iowa Civil Rights
Would you
Commission.
like me to tell the story?
You should, because you're better at that than me.
No, I just thought I asked you to do it. Now you don't know the facts.
I just said everything.
You said everything?
ADF attorneys representing for Fort Des Moines Church of Christ in Des Moines argue in the lawsuit that all events held at a church on its property have a bona fide religious purpose and that the commission has no authority to violate the First Amendment guarantees of freedom of religion and speech.
Now, and understand this law is 9 years old.
Right.
It was written in 2007.
Yep.
But obviously now it has come to fruition. Is that right?
Fruition.
What?
Fruition.
It's got
come to
legs. It's got legs.
Come to be. And Michael Damascus Church, they needed to have somebody in Iowa who...
Damascus.
Just hit him.
Okay.
Throw something at him.
Is that good?
Ouch, that hurt.
That hurt, yeah.
Mike's church stepped forward and said, we'll be bold, we'll be courageous. And by the way, it's not just Mike. This was I believe this was a vote on the membership or something. I mean, I don't think Michael just decided to do this and tell his church he's doing this. I think he went to his church and said, do you want to do this?
Right. I think I believe that's right. I believe he has backing from his congregation. But they're not immune to controversy. Fort Des Moines Church of Christ, this is not their first time they've made a big splash in the public eye here in Des Moines for...
Well, they have one of those lettered signs out.
They did. I want to say
No, they
that's...
do.
They do. I'm sorry. I think that's the thing that really exploded not too long ago when Pastor Michael Damastis said gay is not okay. And
Right.
that was on the church sign. And that was a big thing. From then on, they've just been out front. And I think, I can't speak for Pastor Michael Damastis, but I think this is where he feels he's called to be involved here in the religious liberty and civil rights of the church, in a sense, or the rights of the church.
Culture
freedom.
wars.
The culture war.
Well, here's the deal. Here's the deal. Can I tell you what the deal is?
Yes.
Yeah.
There are churches that will not step into the social arena. And that's perfectly fine. They don't feel that's their calling. Then there are churches who feel they need to be out there in the middle where everybody's living and it's dirty and it's yucky, and get out there and fight the hard battles. And so when somebody says, well, the church never talks about this, here's a church that does. It's not that they want trouble. It's not that they're bullies or they want to be the victim or anything else like that. That's what this church is being called to do. And so if you are a part of a church that you don't feel your church is called to do that, that's okay. I mean, there were 12 disciples, and every one of them was different. Every one of them, they were not at all eligible to walk and talk with the king. But see, they thought the king was going to be the throne guy, the Roman ruler, the on earth king of kings. And Jesus came and said, nope, I'm here for the lost, the lonely, and the lovable. The broken down, tattered, and torn. So, that's why your church may not ever talk about gay marriage or transgender or bathrooms, and why Michael's church maybe never talks about some of the lighter side of theology as some churches do. So we need to all be proud of Michael Damastis and his church, and we need to pray for those members because it's going to hit the fan.
Oh, it's hitting the fan.
Is it hitting already?
I think so.
Okay. That'll be our conversation in the 4 o'clock hour with the young lady from the ADF and Tom Coates. When we come back, the FBI and Hillary back in the saddle again. And then later, something God told me this weekend. Share it with you.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
Hey everybody, I brought Northern Lights Pizza! And it's got Graziano sausage!
Rockton Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens, rock on! This is Pat McManus for Rockton Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
321's 5th day of July. I swear, I think if the listeners, and we'd probably have to do it on the internet only. So rather than on the internet, we run our commercials. We just have the mics on and listen to the things that we say during the commercials, because that's the best part of the show. Chris is over there whining because I have extra. See, earbuds. You know what earbuds are? I know you know what earbuds are. I don't wear headphones. I wear earbuds. And earbuds are cheap. When you're not listening to music through earbuds and you're just listening to talk, they're just $1.99.
How cheap are they?
They're like 99 cents, $1.99.
You can get them at the Dollar Tree.
Yeah, right. I go to the Dollar Tree. And so I have a couple extra brand new packs in my desk. And Chris is mad at me that I won't let him have one because he left his or lost it or whatever. So anyway, just children fighting. We've been apart all weekend. We have to fight. All right. One of the things I did this weekend is I've been looking for some property. And you've heard me say it before, Matt Olson, but I love working with Seth Walker. I just, it's kind of like when I walk into the show. When I walk into the show, Mr. Roloff hands me a folder with all the information, all the news stories, and everything that he wants me to talk about that day, and I can only talk about those things in the folder. Seth Walker hands me a folder that tells me everything about the house that I want to go look at, and it's got everything there I need. These are the type of people that I surround myself with. And I am being so flippity sarcastic right now. I hope you can taste the oil on my tongue. Seth Walker's a great guy. 577-3728. Talked to him 2 hours ago. Now's the time to sell your property. And you know that's true, right? You understand that houses are staying on the market less than 3 or 4 days. You don't have to go through and make it pretty. You don't have to go through and do what you want to do. Just put it on the market, and it'll sell. But you need a professional like Seth Walker, and I hope you use him. 577-3728. So, anybody surprised today by the FBI? Frank?
No. It's been signaled for a couple of weeks now since Obama basically endorsed Hillary, and Bill Clinton had a chance encounter with Loretta Lynch on an airplane. It's been signaled that nothing was going to be done. So this is just the finale and the stake in the heart of nothing's going to be done. And Hillary gets away with more criminal activity and does not spend jail time.
So what you're trying to tell me, Frank, is that the FBI is corrupt. Because that's what you're saying. You're saying that she's a criminal, that she did something wrong, and she should be prosecuted for it, but the FBI says nothing here was done. They've been bought, they've been taught, they've been whatever.
Well, apparently we will see if there's any fallout from it. If any career FBI agents resign, that would be the only thing that tells me they're not on the take or they're not corrupt.
That's a good point. Yeah, that would be a good point. That would be a good point.
Well, I think he just said that they don't recommend it. And the reason is because they don't think there is enough evidence that a prosecutor would be able to use to win that case.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
That's not the FBI's call, is it?
No.
I believe they were.
So they can still call it, from Loretta, what's her name?
Loretta Lynch.
Thank you. She can still say, hey, we're still going to, with what we have, we're still going to prosecute. But I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
But the FBI was investigating more than the email situation. They were investigating some of Hillary's deals from the State Department that was gaining Bill Clinton hundreds of thousands of dollars to make speeches. So I don't know if that's all been taken care of in the same swooping non-indictment.
Right. And he also said that there were thousands of emails that they never read or never had access to. So it's not a complete investigation. It's as complete as they could do with what they had.
All right. So, and for those of you that don't know, Bob Montzer at the Cat in the Hat watching the chat on the Service Legends Truth Text Talk line at 515-809-0993. Now, I want to say this right. You worked for the DCI. Is that correct?
In the crime lab, yes.
For 35 years.
Yes.
So when you speak of these things, you speak from a position of knowledge, not observation.
We'll have some knowledge because we're the ones that get evidence, and then we try to analyze it and present it to a prosecutor, and then they decide whether they go or don't go. And if there's not enough evidence, it's not saying that the person is not guilty.
Right.
They just don't have enough evidence to maybe indict or convict.
So Dorothy Lynch has got to... What?
Loretta Lynch. You said Dorothy.
That's a salad dressing. Loretta Lynch has still the final decision, and what she says goes. And she'll say that the FBI does not think there's enough evidence to have a successful prosecution, therefore we will not be filing charges.
She already said that before Comey got up there to speak, that she will go with their recommendation. She said that before.
All right, so... Chris, what do you think of this? I mean, here we've had this conversation about Hillary's illegal email server, and it's been batted around by, political pundits for a year now, and Donald Trump, crooked Hillary, and da-da-da-da-da, and now the FBI says, nope, nothing here.
Well, I don't mean to sound like a liberal, but stop talking about it. I mean, it's kind of, and here's why I would say that is I think the conservative movement, to a degree, has beat the horse. The email thing has been beat. I think it's as dead as it's going to get. It's not going to move any forward. All those who've investigated this have made their decision about Hillary. It's clear that she lied to the American people. We know that. The FBI's lack of prosecuting doesn't change that. She was careless with her email. That's obvious. In fact, James, did you say Comey? James Comey even said that repeatedly in his statement that Hillary Clinton was careless with her email. We know that her having a private server with this information on it was a very, very, very bad idea. And she probably did make some terrible, costly, country-destructive mistakes. But we already know that. None of the prosecution of the FBI against Hillary Clinton wasn't going to change anybody's opinion that didn't like Hillary Clinton.
I want you guys to understand something, though. Everyone who Hillary was on her email list that was getting emails from that server knew that she wasn't complying with Obama's regulations. So even if Obama and White House staffers got emails from that server, they would know that this was an illegal server. So how's Obama going to jump up and indict Hillary when Hillary can probably provide emails that she sent Obama from an illegal server, which would implicate Obama in the scandal? That's why the scandal's been hushed up. That's why Loretta Lynch isn't pursuing an indictment. That's why the FBI is not because Obama would have to testify under oath before a grand jury, and they're not about to have that.
The way I understand it, though, is having the server itself was not the criminal act. The criminal act was using her private email server to move around top secret classified information.
Correct.
And the FBI is saying they don't have enough evidence right now. They no longer believe they have enough evidence to convict her. So having the server and sending the emails back and forth, Frank, you're saying is they're hung, they're hosed, there's no hope. The FBI is saying, they shouldn't have done it. But it's not enough to put her in jail over it, which I don't know.
Well, if she was an employee, for instance, like anybody else,
she was an employee.
Well, I'm just saying, like any other person,
I pay her.
Then they would be disciplined in some way or another, if not fired for doing that.
David Petraeus,
and that I think is well said, Bob. What is the consequences for what she has done here?
Mm-hmm. 515-244-0077. What do you think? I want to hear your voice. Do you think this is hey? I'm getting old. Either you have to believe that there's not enough evidence, and this is legit, or the FBI just caved. The FBI and the Attorney General.
Right?
Are you listening to me? That this is not over here at Polk County Courthouse. This is not in Madison County. It's in Omaha. This is the federal government, the FBI, the Secretary of State, and the Attorney General, all saying, there's nothing here, quit looking. And it's done. And it folds. And you were saying about Petraeus.
Well, Petraeus got canned on less than that for having some documents in his home, in his dresser or something, and he got canned. So obviously Hillary was using this server to distribute classified information. So the carelessness of it, in and of itself, there should be some sort of criminal indictment on the carelessness that she took with our classified information.
But she didn't personally give this to non-qualified people, if you want to call it that. Petraeus did. You see what I'm saying?
515-244-0077. That's the number you can call to put your voice here in Mac's World. You can also text us at the Service Legends Truth Talk text line at 515-809-0993. I hope you have those in your phone or in your address book or something. I know that maybe today this is not a topic that you want to talk about or make a comment on, but one day you'll be driving down the road, one day you'll be sitting in your chair, one day you'll just be focused on what we're talking about, and you'll get a passion ping. You know what a passion ping is? You know what a pain ping is? You get that thing in your body and it goes, ouch, ouch, and you don't know where it comes from or why it happens, you just know it's there. Well, this is a passion pain. One day you're going to go, Frank's crazy, and I'm going to call up and tell him so. Or whatever it is you feel in your passion pang. And you're going to want to call, and you won't have the number. So it's 515-244-0077, and Service Legends is 515-809-0993. Go ahead, Frank.
Well.
Gosh. I really wish you could see what he looks like when he wants to make a point. He's like a little kid in the back of the room with his hand up going, ooh, ooh, ooh.
I'm waving.
Say, welcome back, Cotter.
Landing
right?
747 lights on the runway. Come to me. Come to me. Listen, you made a big deal over Donald Trump saying that his followers were so rabid that he could go out on Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody.
Correct.
And the followers wouldn't believe it.
Correct.
Well, I would take that up a notch and say Hillary Clinton supporters are so delusional that if they caught the Clintons shooting someone and they had the smoking gun in their hand, Elijah Cummings and John Lewis and Maxine Waters would say, what gun?
I just can't believe that we live in this country where the FBI caves for a presidential. I mean, just think about this, guys. Think about the corruption that's behind here. This is about a woman who did something wrong, and everybody knows she did something wrong. And she's running for the highest office in the land. And the top investigative team in the world, I think, the FBI, comes in and investigates and says, there's nothing to see here. 4 months before an election. Anybody else see it that way? I mean, I don't.
Well, you know, sometimes I
really
wonder that person, the IT guy that claimed the fifth for 160 times. Why would you do that if you didn't have something to cover up? I'm just saying.
Right.
There's just so many things that don't look right.
I know.
And if you don't get the information and if you don't get the evidence, there's nothing you can do about it.
Now, here's the question I want to ask you guys, and we're going to go to a break, and I want you to answer this question when we come back, and then we're going to move to a different topic. Does Donald Trump keep beating that drum? Does he say the FBI is corrupt? Does he say they didn't do a good job, that the Attorney General's laying down on the job?
Yes.
Does he make that a part of his campaign? 515-244-0077. It's Mac's World Live on a Tuesday here on The Truth.
Northern Lights Pizza's amazing garlic butter makes amazing breadsticks. Now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza. I'm Brian Leach, owner of Service Legends, and my position is Chief Talent Officer.
I'm Nicholas Wonderscheid.
I am Bernie Homs.
And I'm the Service Manager.
Marketing Director and Client Relations Manager.
Everything that we do is about ensuring that we exceed your expectations.
Our clients are important to us. 100% satisfaction.
We're not just focused on heating and cooling. That's the easiest part of our job, actually, is fixing furnaces and air conditioners.
Everyone that we come in touch with, we want to improve lives.
Bottom line is, we've got our installation guarantees, 25% energy savings guarantee, comfort guarantee, temperature selection guarantee, property protection guarantee.
100% satisfaction guaranteed, fixed rate or it's free.
All of those guarantees are backed up with a 100% money-back guarantee to hold ourselves accountable to making sure that you get what you're after.
Just fixing the problem today. If they have another problem 5 days down the road, it's still fixed right or it's free.
We use what's called straightforward pricing. Our technicians are going to give you an exact to-the-penny price on what it's going to take before they move forward with any repair. That way you know what to expect.
It's the same price every day.
No surprises.
If you get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you come home, you realize that, oh, my furnace is broken. Now you need to call somebody out that night. You shouldn't have to pay more for that.
We're guaranteeing service 24/7.
We run afternoons, evenings, nights, weekends. We're staffed to work that.
Phone rings at 3 in the morning. You'll get one of our representatives answering the phone every time.
We're not sending you out to Timbuktu in some call center. It's our Service Legend team members, our mission control team.
I'll take a call anytime.
And then they answer the phones the same way during the day as they do at night.
It's a great day at your service company. How can we make you smile?
That's the only way to provide true 24-hour service.
When you're able to let somebody actually live in their home safely when they weren't able to do that before, where they don't have to stay up at night and worry about, is the heat going to come back on, or is the baby in the room next door going to be sick because they got too cold. When you're able to help somebody overcome challenges like that, that's impacting a life. That makes a difference. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I love the team. I love the people that I work with.
We have fun, but we work hard.
I call them my ambassadors of legendary service. If you could just envision what that is, that's who we're sending to your home.
They literally will call in, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. And I get on the phone, they're like, that technician that was at my house was the greatest technician ever. That's cool to me.
We want to brighten people's days.
Every person that we have going into the house has gone through an extensive background check.
Drug testing, we have a very thorough interview process that 1 out of 140 people make it through.
If we promise you something, that's what you're going to get, no matter what.
We're here when you need us to protect the safety and comfort of your family.
If you're not happy, we're going to make it right.
If we're willing to put 100% money-back guarantee on what we do, what type of work do you think we do?
Give us a call. We're there for you 24/7, 365 days a year.
Enough said.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
.338, 22 minutes before the top of the hour. Top of the hour, Salem Radio Network News. And then we're going to have a very special second hour today. Tom Coates and a young lady by the name of, I love this name, Christiana Holcomb. She is lead counsel for the Alliance Defending Freedom, which is the organization that just filed a lawsuit with the Iowa Civil Rights Commission saying that you can't require churches to have transgendered bathrooms, and you don't get to edit the sermons for scripture, and then remove scripture because it doesn't fall under the Iowa Civil Rights okay stuff to say. This is really happening. I mean, it has happened. It was filed today. Michael Damastis from Fort Des Moines Church, Christian Church. Say, what's the name right?
Fort Des Moines Church of Christ.
Okay. Their church has the one that brought the suit. Somebody in Iowa, a church had to do it. And Michael feels called to be that church. He is not allowed to talk about it in the media. So one of my best buddies, who's a pastor, is doing this big thing that's going to change the world. He can't come and talk to me about it. And to be honest with you, we're not going to talk about this, he and I, because I don't want him to tell me something that I can't say on the air, and then I'm sitting here on the air and it falls out of my mouth. I know that really surprises you that listen to me often. That would never happen. Nothing just falls out of Mac's mouth. He processes everything completely. All right, so think the FBI is on the take?
Well, and you asked a question before we went to break, and I think we talked about it a little bit in the break, and that was, is Trump going to continue to beat Hillary with this email thing? And I can't remember who all said what, but Bob, you think Trump's going to continue to beat up Hillary over this email thing? You think he's
Yes, I don't think he'll beat up the FBI. I think he'll go after Hillary. Right.
But what's going to happen when a reporter from CNN or MSNBC or somebody from Fox, I hope anybody asks him this, but Mr. Trump, what about the FBI and the Attorney General of the United States of America? Two of the most powerful positions and people in the world say there's nothing here.
Well, it goes back to something I think Bob said in the last segment, and that is the prosecuting agency here in the FBI, as an example, can only go where the evidence is. And I think the crime here, if there's another crime, so to speak, is that the evidence is being withheld. You talked about this, Bob, that there was the IT guy that worked for Clinton that just pled the fifth the whole time, that he was on the stands, the guy who installed the server, her private server. He's not going to say anything. So they're still withholding information, and that's why I think the FBI is that's where their hands are being tied. I don't think the FBI is choosing to side with Clinton. They're saying the people surrounding Clinton and the people that are going to help us they're going to fight against us, and we can't make the case. And Frank is shaking his head.
It goes all the way to the White House. I'm sorry, because the evidence would eventually lead to Obama's White House getting emails from this server, and Obama would have to testify before a grand jury. That's not going to happen. That's why Loretta Lynch met with Bill Clinton. That's why he endorsed Hillary, is because several weeks ago, is because their thumb had been put on the scale of justice several weeks ago and said no indictment.
All right, 515-809-0993. That's the Service Legends Truth text line. I'm going to go to my man on the job, Mr. Montserrat. He's got a couple texts he wants to share.
Yes, I do. First one, Hillary has apologized and said that she used bad judgment with her emails. Comey, who was appointed by G.W. Bush and was lauded by the conservatives not that too long ago, accepted that apology. So let's move on. Vote for her or not. But don't try to convince me not to vote based on this.
Okay.
Second one, it stinks to high heaven. It is now up to voters to say if corruption is acceptable.
Yeah, but I'm sorry. Don't we have seriously, we have signs of corruption on both sides. I mean, corruption. Here's a term that you would never use with Michael Huckabee. Corruption. Here's a term you would never use with Jeff. Corruption. Here's a term, something you would never use with whoever with a Republican stamp by their side. Corruption. Donald Trump, he's a businessman. So therefore, anything he does that isn't perfect, which nobody's perfect, is now going to be considered corruption because they want to play on an even playing field. And the lowest common denominator here, the highest common denominator here is corruption.
Can't we just move on from this? Hillary ran over your dog in the driveway, and she just says, let's move on to see how I'll not run over your new dog in the future.
Yep. All right. So I want to share something with you. Now, next hour, Christiana Holcomb, who is he is the legal counsel for the ADF, Alliance Defending Freedom. They're the people that, along with Michael Damascus Church of Fort Des Moines Christian Church, Church of Christ, right there on Army Post with the sign, they brought the suit against the Iowa Civil Liberties Union. And we're going to talk about that next hour. Tom Coates will be in. So let's go back to Friday for a minute, okay? And yesterday, because I guess you ran that as a best of yesterday?
Yes.
Okay. And so
Saturday. Monday, yep.
If you heard the program either Friday afternoon at this time or yesterday afternoon at this time, I introduced you to a young man by the name of Stephen Corey, Pastor Stephen Corey. He is an Arab. Is that right, Bob? Is that right. Saying that nicely? I mean,
yeah, I believe he's got some of that right. I looked him up, but I'll go back there. But I think you're right.
But that's not an insult when I say that.
I think he said he was Palestinian, didn't he?
I think he said he was born in Israel, though, wasn't he?
Born in Israel.
Yeah. Came over here and was educated for his college and his seminary. Went to a seminary down in Springfield, Missouri, which is part of the your old church, Bob.
Or the Assemblies?
Yeah. Yeah. So, and he was on the radio, and he was talking about the churches he's planting in Israel. Planted churches in Israel. In fact, the latest one that he's planted or is planting is in Bethlehem. Now, I just don't think there's any cooler church to go to in the world than one at Christmas Eve in Bethlehem. I mean, serious. Isn't that like, spaceship rides and stuff?
I think that'd be pretty cool.
So Pastor Corey and I talked on Friday, and we're going to talk here again soon because he's flying into Des Moines for this weekend, although I won't be here this weekend. And we're talking about maybe putting a live broadcast together from this newly planted Christian church in Bethlehem on Christmas Eve. And we'd probably also do like Christmas Eve is a Saturday this year.
Yes.
So we'd probably do Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday's Max World live from places in Jerusalem. He also has my church, Lutheran Church of Hope, supports a church in Nazareth. Would that be the name of the town?
Yes.
Nazarene is what you are. You're from Nazareth. But that's a name we know well from Jesus' travels around that. And then I've also found out, I've been working on this. I've also found out that we partner with meaning Lutheran Church of Hope, partners also with another ministry, and listen to what they do. This will blow you away. So in the Muslim world, if your child is born with a birth defect, handicap, something like that, the state takes them and they won't kill them, but they'll put them in cages and chain them up because that is a curse from God on the parents that God gave him an imperfect child.
Kind of sounds like the federal government of the United States believes the same thing.
What do you mean by that?
Well, that was what the Supreme Court decided, right? They're all for aborting babies if you don't like the gender, if they have Down syndrome, kill them, right?
So there's a ministry over there that takes these little Arab children in and raises them as a Christian home. And that's another ministry.
Awesome.
So I'll talk more about that. We're up against a hard break. Coming back live here on The Truth. Yep, 99.3.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Rockton Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens, rock on! This is Pat McManus for Rockton Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
Northern Lights Pizza, your home of the tasty crust. Our garlic butter sauce now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common, everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
All right, 10 minutes before the top of the hour, Salem Radio Network News. And then, and Tom's in here now, so you may hear his voice in this conversation. But Tom will be in. And Tom, our guest, Tom doesn't even know who the guest is yet.
No, we didn't know this morning, did we?
I love this name, Christiana. Did I say that right? Christiana Holcomb.
Okay.
She is lead counsel for the Alliance to Defend Freedom.
Oh, good.
This is the young lady. This is the organization that paired up with Michael Damastis at Fort Des Moines Church, and they've sued the Iowa Civil Rights Commission. And the reason they're suing them is because the law passed in 2007 says that we have to accept transgendered bathrooms into churches, and we cannot speak what they would call hate speech. We can't preach against sexual sin.
You can't quote the Bible then, is that right, Mac?
That's correct. So she's going to be on the radio, and we're looking forward to that.
Frank's making a motion over
And
there.
if you want more transgendered gay rights, vote for Hillary 2016.
Fully and openly serve the military after last week's announcement. Isn't that something? You talk about a esprit de corps. How would you like a openly transgendered guy bunking up with the ladies in the Army, right?
Yeah.
Nothing like it.
No bad stuff would come of that.
Let me tell you why this radio show is such a great show. Because I'm not the star. You are. And I bring in all these wonderful characters who have different passions within them. Okay? And you just heard from two of our
So you can throw Frank under the bus. What are you going to say about Tom?
Right.
He's sitting right here.
You knew that, didn't you? Yeah. My resident bigot,
misogynist,
Frank,
racist,
the verse,
homophobe,
and my very, 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 very conservative friend Tom Coates.
Okay.
How did I do there?
That's real good.
But
Thank you, Mac.
You're so good. I love you, Chris.
Yeah, I have to sit between the two of them, so you know what?
But you knew that I was struggling with the fact that I was about to call one of my best friends in the world on the radio a bigot. All right, hey, you can learn more about what America needs in a revival. That's why I encourage you to attend this year's Family Leadership Summit 2016. This coming Saturday, the 9th, here in Des Moines. The event will feature Ann Graham Lotz, War Room actor T.C. Stallings, biblical worldview expert Dr. Del Tackett, and Stephen Corey, which we just interviewed and we're talking about now. Were you listening coming over?
I listened to some of it, Mac. I was doing a phone call with a guy for part of it, and then I listened to you the rest of the way.
All right. Friday, we had this pastor on who, born and raised in Jerusalem, educated down in Columbia, Missouri at seminary, First Assembly. Springfield, I'm sorry. And then went back to Israel, and for the last 20 years has been planting Christian churches. And it's just so interesting. Now, you and I have talked about the disdain I have for sleeping in somebody else's bed, even in a hotel bed.
Okay.
I don't like that. I don't travel. I don't go anywhere. I don't go on missions. I'm just freaky that way. I'm like, what's his name that does the fist bump? He's afraid of germs.
Monk?
No. Anyway.
Oh, he's on that.
The bald-headed guy. Billy Crystal. No. Howie Mandel.
Thank you.
Howie Mandel.
I'm the same way when I go into a hotel. All I see is everybody else's stuff on my bed.
Well,
I'm sorry.
I guess you better not bunk out with Bill Clinton then.
No,
Well, I heard a man in the waiting line the other day give me a horror story about bed bugs out of a hotel, so I guess it sometimes is justified.
Yeah, it's just creepy to me. In
it
fact,
is.
I won't. To be honest with you, what I'll do is I'll strip down. I'll go buy a set of sheets, or I'll take some with me. I'll find out what kind of bed it is. I'll go buy a set of sheets, and I'll redress the bed. That's how weird I am. All right.
No, it's
so
not
anyway.
weird. It's not weird.
So anyway.
Hey, we've got the equipment. Anyway, never mind. That's another story.
So I had a prayer session the other day at Hope called the Inner Healing Prayer. And this is supposed to take 2.5, 3 hours. It took almost 5. And one of the things that the Holy Spirit revealed to me when I asked him the question, Papa, what do you have planned for my ministry? I see this blue cosmic thing in the air, and then it flies away, and the word infinity comes up. Now, that's just not a word I use. And the goosebumps that I'm getting now and that I got then is God telling me, you have no idea what I have in store for you. I think he wants me to go to Israel on Christmas Eve, go to Israel, stay with this pastor. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we do Max World live from there. And then Saturday night, we broadcast live from Bethlehem.
That would be a real
Christmas
experience. I would envy that, Mac. That would be a real
Yeah.
experience.
And I don't have any fears on that. I said on the radio I'd always wanted to go to Israel, but I don't want to be a part of a tour group. I
can understand that, but this would be a real opportunity, Matt. Good luck on that.
Well, and we've got 2 missions that we work with from Hope that are over there. One is a church in Nazareth, And the other one is someone who rescues babies, Muslim babies who are born with deformities or Down syndrome, because that is, in the Muslim world, that's a sign that the parents are sinners.
Yes.
So this Christian preacher takes these kids in. They take them from a place where they're literally in cages and chained up, takes them in and treats them like a human being.
It's a good argument for bringing millions more, like Obama wants to do, into our country, isn't it? They don't assimilate. They want to run. They want to live their lives under Sharia law. Now, Chris, you made an interesting comment that it's a little bit like the Roe v. Wade decision about if you've got an imperfect child, let's go ahead and kill it. But at the same point, I mean, how much worse would it be if we have sections of this country living under Sharia law in the not-too-distant future?
Well, and the thing that concerns me a little bit is that they'll succeed. Muslims will succeed and grow to influence as we fight for, and this scares me as a person who's for it, religious freedom in this country.
Oddly enough,
I think that's how they're going to get it done.
And the left claims that they think homosexual rights and women's rights are the highest order of business, and yet that's the very thing that Sharia and Islam subjugate. I mean, the irony is, if we had a decent media, Mac, we would be hearing something about that, and yet they're stone silent on that kind of conflict.
I know. I had a long conversation with a good friend of mine this weekend who's going through a divorce, and the hypocrisy is just unbelievable. And that's what we have here. It just seems to be hypocrisy is the new American way. That you need to be tolerant of me, but I don't need to be tolerant of you. And it's just incredible.
A friend of mine sent out an email picture the other day of an old nun being frisked at the airport by a Muslim woman with the garb on. What do we come to? We're physically frisking old nuns by Muslim women with their, what do they call that?
Burqa.
Burqa, yeah, the burqa.
All right. Anyway, I'll keep you updated on what's going on there. And this is very organic. Don't think this is some radio promotion that was figured out 5 months ago, 5 weeks ago. Okay, I'm sharing this with you organically. This just happened Friday. I just talked to the other two ministries this morning. And I told Pastor Mike, and he thinks it's neat. We might even do a live shot into Hope.
That'd be great.
From over there. Anyway, we're coming back. What's going on? The Iowa Civil Rights Union is being sued for religious rights, and it's about time. We'll talk about it when we come back live here on The Truth.